Hello. I don't know how to start this. This is my second attempt at making this video today because I felt that my first one, I was just blabbing and I just wanted to be a little more concise. This is an update on my cancer diagnosis, what's going on coming up, and what's going on in the future. I just want to talk about where my diagnosis stands right now. I want to talk about what's coming next in the very immediate future. I'll talk about the GoFundMe a little bit, and then talk about what's going on with me in the next kind of future tense parts after all this. So first things, I know some people were wondering on my first video, since I only had an initial diagnosis of cancer in the brain and the lungs, but it's confirmed it is non-small cell lung cancer that metastasized to my brain. And that's what we know so far. We still have to do some testing. We're doing some genomic testing on the specific type of cancer. That way the doctors can figure out the exact kind of treatment that's going to be the least toxic and the most effective for this cancer. And then the very next step, actually starting the week after next, the week of April 8th, we are going to be doing gamma knife radiation into my brain to deal with the 4 or 5 small brain lesions or tumors that are in my brain that cause the initial symptoms. They're still doing the staging for the cancer. Technically, I think it's stage 4. So just because it's metastasized to my brain. So that's just, I think that's the criteria. But again, I'm not a doctor. So if you are familiar with cancer, or if you know someone who is familiar with cancer or cancer treatment, there's a lot of testing and a lot of imaging that goes on that determines everything. And so the biggest and most difficult issue that I've faced so far is just waiting, seeing all sorts of different doctors, getting on their schedules, getting testing and imaging so that they can pinpoint exactly what the cancer is and how they're going to treat it. So if you're curious about like what the actual diagnosis was, it's lung cancer, non-small cell lung cancer, metastasized to my brain. The good news is that it's non-small cell lung cancer, meaning small cell lung cancer is typically very aggressive, grows very fast, is more difficult to treat. Non-small cell lung cancer, typically a lot more options for treatment, slower, less aggressive. Essentially, my life is not in immediate danger right this second. The main problems I'm having right now are neurological because of the lesions in my brain. Those are obviously really bad and they want to take care of those first. But the good news is my doctors are very confident that there are treatment options that will be very effective for me. I've been reassured that because I'm young, I'm very young to have this type of cancer. It's most likely environmental, not something I did to myself because I wasn't a heavy smoker ever. Like I said, they're doing genomic testing on the cancer to find out more information on where the cancer possibly came from or the cause of it. And then they're going to do some very specific treatments that they think will be very effective at treating it, which is good. So we have some kind of good news in that way. Lung cancer is always bad news. It's not good. It's very scary. And it's not something I want anyone to go through because a lot of things can happen. But I'm confident in the care that I'm getting. I'm confident in the people that are assigned to my team and my doctors, my nurses, my NPs, and I think that they're doing a great job and they're on top of it. So the hard part is just waiting to, do the testing, get the results back, figure out treatment, and then like make the treatment plan because that dictates so much of what's going to happen to me going forward. So that's where my diagnosis is at right now. I will be updating the more I know, of course, but that's where we're at today. I saw my radio oncologist for my team, the guy who's going to be using the gamma knife to zap my brain. He was a character. He gave me a lot of confidence in his ability to figure this out and treat it. He's very confident in, based on my imaging, based on what he's seen, that the treatments that he is choosing for the brain lesions will be very effective and I will have minimal side effects, which is very cool to hear. Science is fucking crazy. And yeah, the hard part right now about that is the waiting, because in the interim I have to be on medication to keep me from having seizures and to keep the swelling in my brain down. So I'm on an anti-seizure medication called Keppra, and I'm on dexamethasone, which is a steroid, both of which have multiple side effects. The steroids make me feel insane all the time. My appetite is like through the roof. I'm not like moody or anything, but I'm very jittery. I'm very like anxious, and it's a hard feeling to sit with and be with all the time. So that's kind of hard. I also have some weird stuff going on with my mouth. Like I can't taste things normally. Stuff kind of tastes bad. And sweet stuff doesn't really taste sweet. Bitter stuff kind of tastes interesting. It's like soda is really gross. Like it's hard to drink and eat stuff because nothing's really enjoyable. Even water doesn't taste good, which is like really awkward. The only thing so far that is okay is coconut water. So I went to Costco and bought like a fuckload of coconut water because it's kind of the only beverage I can like drink and enjoy. So that's what I've been binging on the last couple weeks, which, you know, could be worse. Coconut water is great for you. So yeah, so that's kind of like what's going on with my diagnosis. Treatment, like I said, we have some more testing and stuff to do. I'm doing like 3 MRIs, 4 or 5 MRIs next week, a CT, a PET scan. Yeah, like a bunch of testing, a lumbar puncture, and a bunch of other stuff this next week. So they're going to be gathering a lot of information next week in order to plan my treatments out. So a lot of that is happening this next week. So that's, I was going to say exciting, but it's kind of weird, kind of scary. So that's what my week looks like coming up. Yeah, so that's that. I did want to just kind of talk about the GoFundMe for a second. Some people had mentioned in the comments that I had jumped to a GoFundMe without even a diagnosis, which wasn't really true. I had an initial diagnosis of cancer. They just didn't have the specifics yet, which, you know, it's fine. I'm not upset that people felt that way. Like I understand if you're, you know, asking for assistance and money publicly, like you're going to be under scrutiny, and that's totally fine. I will say that I did not expect a fraction of the response that I've gotten. My video is over 100,000 views. The vast majority of comments have been incredibly supportive and sweet and caring and just like human, which I wasn't expecting. I didn't expect my video to get so much attention because I made it generic, and I made it not generic, but I made it for my audience. I just wanted to update the people who knew me about what's going on with me. Like I didn't think it would have the reach that it did. And I'm really blown away by just the humanity I'm experiencing. It's hard to talk about because I don't understand how to articulate properly how big it feels to me to have these feelings about it and how impactful that it like truly actually is. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who's reached out, anyone who's commented, anyone who's DM'd me or messaged me on Instagram. I read all your emails. I've read all your messages. I've gotten back to as many people as I can. All of your generosity and kindness has touched me in a way that's indescribable. And I just can't even begin to think about how I could repay that in my lifetime. Yeah. Initially, I made the 20K goal on my GoFundMe because that's kind of where gamma knife radiation out-of-pocket costs, it's kind of where it lives. It's like sort of in that area. I just assumed like maybe I would make a fraction of that and it would help offset some of the cost. Not in my wildest dreams did I think it would shoot past that goal. I mean, it's very clear to me that, this whole process is going to be debilitatingly expensive anyway. So, it's not lost on me that like it's going to be expensive, but the amount of money that people have been able to donate, I wouldn't never have expected that. And I don't feel like I deserve it. And I'm still grappling with it. I mean, I'm going to need every dollar to pay for treatment, but it's just like the idea that I didn't know what I was going to do when I got this diagnosis, and now I know I can at least do something, is such a massive difference in just my outlook on life. It just changed my complete outlook because I realized I'm not alone, like staggeringly not alone. And it's truly beautiful and kind of scary. It feels like a big responsibility as well. But it's incredible. And I'm speechless every day thinking about what that means for me and my treatment. The film community, specifically the film and photography community, came out for me in a way that I couldn't even imagine. I've dedicated my whole life to photography and to film specifically, and to, the knowledge and preservation of photography as an art and film as an art, and learning and having a community. And the community mirrored that back at me times a million, like truly said that I was part of the community and supported me. Again, in a way that like I couldn't even fathom in my wildest imagination. And it's hard to understand how to respond, because I always knew that this community was very special, very unique, and very like worthy of my time and investment, and being a part of. And this is just such a beautiful, perfect example of why this community is special. Like the unending pouring out of humanity and love in the face of like literal tragedy is just mind-boggling. The amount of people who I have never even met who've reached out and touched my life in these last couple of weeks has just like broken my brain. And if this doesn't affirm for me like how important this community is, I don't know what possibly could. And it's interesting because, I wasn't defeated when I got this diagnosis in the first place, but this even more so affirms that I am in the right community, that all of my efforts in this community have been 100% worth it, and that in the future, going forward, my focus and my efforts towards this community are like my main concern and my main like point in life, which I don't know how that even compares to like what I've received from the community, but like I will do everything I can for the rest of my natural life to shine that love and compassion and humanity back at the community that stepped up for me in my literal darkest moment. And I don't want to get too much more philosophical than that, but that's truly how I feel about it. And that kind of goes into the next thing I wanted to talk about, which is what's happening going forward. With this channel, I don't want this channel to become the Chris Has Cancer channel. I will talk about it sometimes, but I want this channel to still be what it used to be, which is a resource and something for the community, as far as like learning, education, entertainment, in the photography space. And I intend to work on that even further now that I have time, because I can't work. And I intend to be more intentional with that going further. But even more, so some of you may know already, I met Jason Lee last December when I was in Los Angeles for work. And we became fast friends, hit it off really quick. He and I got along really well. And he asked me to help him build and subsequently run the film lab at the Eagle Rock Camera and Goods store in Los Angeles. And so that's been my plan for this year. My girlfriend and I were planning on moving back to California anyway, to be near family. And it just worked out that this year Jason wanted to open a film lab at the camera store, in order to serve the community and be a resource and preserve film and do that whole thing. And when we talked about it, we saw so eye to eye on everything, and it just kind of worked out great. So we're partnering up on that, and I will be a part of Eagle Rock Camera as the guy running the lab, which will be a full service professional lab. We're hoping to have it open by December this year. To be honest, getting a cancer diagnosis does put some hindrances on things, so we're going to look at how that's going to be, but that's still the goal. And now with what's happened with this response I've gotten and this like newfound kind of, I don't know, like lust for life and like desire to like give back more, I'm even more excited for that to be like my legacy and something that I work really hard on and establish for the community, for however long it can be around. And so that's kind of what's going on in the immediate, like, out future-ish. So this year we've already been working on planning it. We already planned out the build out. We're running electricity right now. I'm sourcing machines, so C41 machines. We're going to be doing E6. We're going to do 110 all the way up to 8x10. We're going to do really high-end scanning with like a Hasselblad scanner. We've got Noritsu scanners. We've got all the stuff planned out. It's going to be a really great, really simple but very professional film lab setup with like actual resources that will be available to photographers. And it's just so exciting to be working with someone like Jason, who feels the same way about community, feels the same way about film and photography, and wants to really be a steward for it going into the future. And I'm incredibly lucky that he and I get along so well. I'm incredibly lucky that he asked me to be a part of it with him. It really truly is my dream job and a dream come true to be able to do this. And that's kind of like another thing that's keeping me going, is that I'm going to be able to work on that and do that. So I couldn't be more excited. Jason's been an incredible friend through this whole thing as well. He's been very supportive. He's just such a great down-to-earth guy. If you're in the Los Angeles area now, Eagle Rock Camera is there. They're there all week. They're there, I think it's Tuesday through Saturday. And you can go in and meet Jason and Ray. They're both incredible human beings. I'm incredibly blessed to be working with them. And I encourage you to go by, say hello, grab some film, pick up a camera, just chat. But yeah, so that's kind of what's going on in the future. So everything is scary, everything is frightening, and everything is exciting at the same time. I don't know when we're going to be moving to LA. It's going to be sometime this year. A lot of it depends on my treatment plan. First and foremost, getting the right treatment is going to be what's important. Making sure that my prognosis is good and that I'm healthy enough to where I will be able to focus on doing some work is important to me. It's going to be hard. Chemotherapy will be hard. Drugs will be hard. Things will be hard. It'll be very, very difficult in the next coming year and 2 years, dealing with this. But I'm 100% ready for it. I'm 100% going into this with every intention of becoming healthy, keeping myself healthy, getting stronger, and beating the shit out of this cancer and turning this situation from a dire shit show into something that can be hopeful and something that could be bigger than me, because this isn't just happening to me. It's happening to a lot of people, apparently. And I don't want to be, I'm not going to wallow in self-pity and talk about how bad it is for me, because I'm very lucky. I'm very, very lucky that I caught it when I did. I'm very lucky that I have the people surrounding me to support me. I'm very lucky that I'm in this community. And I'm going to fight every single day to get through this and be a person that can contribute and be helpful. And yeah, So that's where I'm at. I hope I seem hopeful, because I am. I'm terrified. I really am terrified of what could happen, but I'm not going to dwell on that. I'm not going to dwell in fear, because I am not going to give into it anyway. Some days will be harder than others, but I'm always going to get up every day and move that needle forward. And a lot of it is thanks to all of you, to those of you who watched my video, who reached out to me, who shared my GoFundMe, who contributed to my GoFundMe. Like, I will never truly feel, I don't think I'll truly be able to feel like I can totally repay that, but I will spend the rest of my life doing everything I can to try to repay every act of kindness that I've received over the past couple of weeks, because it's staggering. And that is a huge testament to the film and photography community all over the world. We're special, and this proves it to me without a shadow of a doubt. So I don't want to ramble along anymore. I don't want to take too much of your time. I just wanted to update you on what's going on. Still got a long road ahead. Still got some testing to do. Still got some treatment options to look into. I'd love to get off these meds, because I feel crazy, but I'm thankful for them right now. So thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for everything that you've done for me so far. You guys are incredible. And I will be updating more. I will be putting out some videos. I will be updating the GoFundMe as well. I will be keeping you guys up to date on what's happening, and hopefully be bringing some actual good photography content in the next couple weeks for this channel. And I hope you'll join me for that. So thank you again. I love you. I will see you very soon.